Okay, let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing great. I know that I am. So yesterday we had a day that was very interesting. I had quite a bit of things I wanted to get done. I had a dentist appointment, and believe it or not, I didn't start my stream. So I thought I was streaming for an entire hour. And then when it came to editing the stream, well, there was no stream to be had. So total screwed up, but it doesn't matter. I fired the engineer, believe it or not, and I hired another one. So today we shouldn't have any problems. So anyways, we don't have a recap, so there's no point of going over to the computer to see what we did yesterday. It's obvious that we did these electromagnetic waves in gold paint, and then we added the background of little planets, which we are going to color today. So let's not waste any time. I'm going to put these guys in orange. And I know I'm going to need two coats, so I'm going to grab my fan. I'm going to put it on full blast behind me, and hopefully, if we start on that upper left-hand corner, work our way down to the lower right-hand corner. By the time we get here, up there will be dry, and we'll be able to put our two coats. It's important because after that, we're going to have details on these little planets. And I need to do all that first because afterwards I am going to be splattering a bunch of paint on this canvas. So the background obviously has to be finished. For that, and for that to be finished, the paint has to dry. So let's stop wasting time and let's grab our orange paint. Finished are the days where I used to mix yellow and red. Now I just have the jar of orange paint for lazy people. So, very good, very good. Let me just grab a palette right here. See if I can't find a clean one. There we go. Just scrape off the old paint. There we go. And grab my faithful little knife, and let's get our yellow paint together, just like that. Now, if you add all these planets together, I really don't have much of a surface to paint, probably 1 square foot, so I don't need an excessive amount of paint. And this should do it. And I'll just add a little more. I can always put it back in the jar when I'm done, which I probably will do. Not going to waste a drop, not at the prices that materials cost these days. You wouldn't believe it. But anyways, so let's clean off our knife. There we go. And I'm going to just check the computer, make sure everything is going all right. Now I've lost confidence, right? After yesterday's screw up. So I got that together. What do I need now? I need a brush, and I'm going to add some water to this orange paint so it flows on the canvas the way I want it to. So, because it is obviously very thick right there. Very, very thick. So I'll just add a bunch of water right away and just start mixing all this together. I'm not going to bother to go to camera number 1 to do this, which is what I usually do when I'm mixing several colors together. So we do it together, you and I. But when it's something as boring as this, I don't think it's worth it. So I'll just keep turning all this so it gets to be a nice creamy texture. And this orange, no matter how thick I put it on the canvas, I always have to do 2 coats. It's just one of those colors that for some reason doesn't cover that well. It looks like it when you put it on, but when it dries, if it's a large surface, you can see the brush strokes, and even if it's not a large surface, you can see right through it. Compared to some other colors like cerulean blue, which is very opaque, covers very well. And certain greens as well. There are a few colors that work very well, and others that, for example, gold. If you put gold on, well, you can see right through it almost immediately, but when it dries, it becomes opaque. So I guess every color has its own little thing. So what do I have here? I have a nice and creamy texture, but I have a feeling it's a little too thick, which will mean it'll take longer to dry. And today we would really, if it's going to be a short stream, but I would like to get the 2 coats on so that we can, and it would be ideal if both coats could dry fast enough so that I could actually put the details, the little red details to these little planets, so that we can just splatter paint tomorrow. That would be pretty awesome. Okay, so I think I have the right texture there. I am going to set up the other camera. I'm going to bring this a little closer because we'll be starting on that upper left-hand corner, as I mentioned. And I'm going to move this out of the way, even though it distorts a little bit the canvas. But put that up there. I'm going to bring this fan over here. And I'm going to put it on medium high for now. Aim it up there. It's going to blow my hair around, but it doesn't matter. So I have this done. Now the important thing also is to get the right paintbrush. Yesterday, just to put on the white paint, I had to go through 3 paintbrushes to find the one that I had total control over. And I assume that is this one right here that I used. I'll double check. Well, this one here could work very well as well. Actually, I might even use this one. Just seems to be a little bit stiffer. And that's kind of what I want. So let me just soak this up for a few seconds here. There we go. Get rid of the excess water off the brush. There we go. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be just fine. And I'm going to step back for a second just to take a look and see what we're going to be doing. Okay. So this is going to go by very quickly. And I'm just hoping, okay, I can feel the fan just about everywhere's on the canvas. So that's pretty good. And actually, I'm going to put it on high speed. There we go. And I'm going to switch over to camera number 1 and let's get to work. Well, this is definitely the right paintbrush. There you go. Total control over everything, even though I have a lot of room to screw up because I can always make up everything with a second coat and with red details I'm going to go on top of that even more. So okay, let me just move the camera here. Very good. I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. I have to keep an eye on this camera. I noticed that it kept losing its focus if I wasn't paying attention, so I have to keep an eye on it. I keep forgetting to look into buying a new camera because I have a feeling it's because the camera has aged. I mean, no matter if I put it on manual or automatic focus, at one point or another, I lose the focus. It just gets blurry. That's so annoying, especially when I don't notice it. It is kind of annoying to have to keep turning your around and around, checking everything, the camera every 2 minutes. There we go. So let's move on up over across the canvas. Let's go over here a little bit. So yesterday I mentioned, as I thought I was streaming, which I wasn't, that there are going to be a lot of plants that are going to be hiding these little planets. But now I'm not sure. Because I did want to do some splattering, and once that splattering is done, I'm not sure I'm going to want to add plants. I don't know. We're going to wing this canvas. We're already using a color that I'm not used to using, really. I'm going to be splattering turquoise blue or turquoise green. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet, but I think it's going to look very nice. So let's bring the camera over for these last few. You know what, before I go on that upper right hand side, I'm going to go back down on this left hand side here where the fan is on full blast, so it will dry. Go. Very nice. Okay. I am also going to grab my chair to do these lower planets. I guess I can do these guys right here before I sit down. Very nice. Okay, cool. Just grab this other one here. I'll zoom in a little bit. Just like that. Very good. Okay. I can bring this down a little bit. How about if I zoom in just a whisker? Just like that. I guess I'll sit down. I'll switch over to camera number 1, full screen. Yeah, this is going faster than the paint has time to dry, unfortunately. Now you might say, well, why don't I paint the inside of that big white circle or paint the frame to this painting while it's drying? And to be honest with you, the reason why is I simply don't know what color and what I'm going to do. I have no idea. These paintings are kind of like puzzles, you know. I do one step and then my intuition leads me doing the next step. Unless sometimes I have the whole thing in my mind already, but it's not the case quite with this painting. So I'm not too sure really where I'm going to go from here. Well, I did have an idea, but I'm not sure I'm going to stick to it. There's so much stuff going on in the world that upsetting stuff as well. What's going on in Afghanistan and fucking state of Texas. And yes, I am aware of politically what's going on in the world. So we got this done. Let me bring my camera over a little closer while I'm down here. There we go. There we go. Okay, let me just move over a little bit more. And I guess before I sit down, I will go to the top of my canvas first. Let's go up there. I'll zoom in on those guys. So I'm looking at these planets here, and they're almost dry. But the ones where I was, just putting on a little thicker, well, they're not quite dry yet. So I might be able to get away with 2 coats. Let's find out. There we go. Let's get these last few down here. I'll pull back the camera. There we go. Un petit dans mon comic strip. Have a song stuck in my head. I hate that. Especially when I can't sing and I don't know the words. A song by Serge Gainsbourg called Comic Strip. Okay, very good. So, where are we at? Are we ready for a second coat or not? Let's pull the camera back over here. I will zoom in up on this left corner here. And well, look at that. That's dry. Most of it is dry. These guys here are dry. The larger one isn't quite dry, but we don't really care. So this is really good news. I'm very happy about that. I'm just going to kill a little more time to allow everything else to dry. Maybe even move the fan a little bit more towards the right-hand side of the painting. And very good. So maybe I can kill another 10 seconds if I get a drink of water. There we go. Because the ideal thing is once that second coat, if that could dry as quickly as this first coat, then we can add the details and tomorrow start splattering. That would be awesome. So let's go back and put the second coat of orange. I have the paint already right here. The camera number 1 is in its place. So let's just go to it. Okay, let me just move the camera over. I don't want to see my face in front of the lens, even though it is an extremely handsome face, but still. Okay, there we go. Now this second coat is really to hide the paintbrush strokes that I can see from this first coat. And it's really the left-hand side of these planets that I want to be as opaque as possible, because on the right-hand side of these little planets, that is where my red paint will be, the details. So I am really just trying to get the center and the left-hand side of these bubbles. I'm even skipping the extreme right edge of these bubbles because there will be that red paint. I don't really need to do that. So there we go. I have to put my palette or my hand there just to make sure that the camera stays focused. I don't trust this camera anymore, as I mentioned earlier. So let me get there. There we go. Again, we want to just get the center and the left-hand side with the second coat. There we go. I'll move the camera over just a little bit more. We are up here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. There. So it's nice to zoom in, but after that I have to remember to zoom out. Otherwise you miss what's going on. even though it's not all that thrilling. Go. Oops, what is this here? Got rid of that. I don't know what that was. A little black thing that got mixed up in my orange paint. Or it is another one too. It must be from the bottom of my palette. There we go. So I got rid of those guys. Let's go and finish off these guys down here now. So let me get the ones standing up first, and I'll grab my chair again. There we go. I don't want to get too sloppy now either. There we go. So annoying. I have that song in my head. Unfortunately, I can't play it for copyright reasons. Because if I played it, then I'm sure I would just get it out of my head once and for all. And I sure as hell will not sing it for you guys. I have too much respect for you to put you through that kind of a torture. So this is where I'm going to need my chair. There we go. All right, got that done as well. So let's get these big guys right here. Plus the second coat really makes the whole thing a lot more intense, more vibrant. And that's what we like, intense colors. There we go. Okay, very good. Let me just move over a little more, bring a little camera with me. There we go. There we go. No need more than that. Very good. All right. Very good. I hope the camera follows me. I'm not sure where I'm That was the camera. Guess I'll check right now. Oh yeah, okay, it's got everything basically, I guess. I still have to move my chair over a little bit. And I'll move the camera over as well. You have this one here I can do standing up though first, right here. Very good. Okay. So, this guy down, I guess. There we go. Just want to grab those last few ones. Get this big guy here first. There we go. A lot of these bubbles are going to be covered anyways by the splattering, right? So I shouldn't worry about it too much. Can't help myself though. This is the last one, I'm pretty sure. There we go. And wait, there's one more down here that I didn't do. Way down here, that little half moon right here. There we go. I don't have right hand side. Just that part right there. Very good. Okay, very good, very good. So now I'm going to, well, first of all, I'm going to put the rest of my orange paint back in the container. Go. Like I said, we don't want to waste a drop, seeing how expensive this stuff is. You know, a jar like this is what, maybe, how much is a jar like this? It could be like around 12 bucks, 12 to 15 bucks. So, pretty expensive, seeing how much I use. You know, of course, if I painted like just on Sundays, a jar like that would last me months, but unfortunately, I go through a lot of my paints very quickly. And the size of my paintings are 64 inches. How much? 62 inches. 62 by 42. So these canvases are fairly large. But it's almost like the perfect size for the studio, and just the perfect size for me to paint, because I love this kind of size. Sometimes it makes me, you know, I have to get physical. I like that part of painting as well. Okay, so next step, the red paint, the little details of red. And then we'll be all done for the day. I can use this. Maybe I can use the cap to my red, to the jar of red paint. Oh man, this is sealed tight. Oof. Man, oh, unbelievable. I just opened this like a couple of days ago. Oh man. Whew. Ah. was pretty tight, pretty hard to open. Why is that? Because I have paint all over on the inside, that's why. Clean all this off. I mean, the paint won't stick to non-porous surfaces, but if I have paint on the inside of my cap, and then I have paint on the outside like I do here, well, obviously it's going to stick one to the other. So let me see if I can't clean this off. It will give me a few seconds for my paint to dry as well. Let me just go over here very quickly and do this. That is thick. This might take longer than, maybe I shouldn't do this right now. I didn't realize it was caked up this badly. Now it's caked up pretty much. No wonder why I couldn't open it. Before it was blue paint, before the red. See, I have a lot of stuff stuck on the inside. I'm just going to peel all this off. I'll bring camera number 1 over so you can see a little bit what I'm doing here. Let me bring everything over just a little bit right there. And as you see, I was just scraping the inside of this jar. I have all this old blue paint underneath. The blue is all dry. There we go. Get rid of all this stuff. There we go. Looks much better. This blue here is on the outside of my plastic. This is a see-through, so the blue you see here is actually on the outside. But I'll worry about that some other time. I'll just wash my hands for a few seconds. And the reason why I put the red paint on top inside this blue can is just for the very simple reason that the red came into this kind of a jar. So you can, no problem of using it up to here, but to get the last 4 inches or 3 inches of paint, the last 3 inches of paint, it's a friggin' nightmare. And I get pissed off every friggin' time I use these, but these are pretty not that expensive, and they cover very well, and they're flexible, so they're a good acrylic paint, except for the cap is way too small. So what I do, I cut them with my knife, and then I put them on a larger jar that I can use more easily. So that's why I have the red paint in that jar of old blue paint. When I run out, I just kind of save the empty jar for one of my colors. And that's what I did with my white paint, that's what I did with the black paint, and that's what I did with the green paint. I put them all in these, oh shit, I'm walking all over on the stuff I just threw away. Let me scrape that off my foot. God, that wasn't very smart. But I'm a painter, I'm not a brain. Okay, so let me pull this camera back. Let's get back to here. I'll pull this baby over here. Up. Okay. Ugh, what a mess. Okay, so I am going to use the cap as a palette. So let me just add a little more red. So here's, what am I going to have? Maybe 3 square inches of a surface to paint. Not that much, so I don't really need all that much paint. Boop, 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 boo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo, doom, doom, doo-doo-doo-doo-doom. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking a few minutes to do this, but what the heck. The whole point is to share everything that goes on in the studio, including this kind of stuff. Good thing I have nice strong nails, I must say. Okay, very good. Okay, let's get back to work. Oops, not quite clean enough. There we go. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to mix a little bit of water with my red paint, just so it flows the way it should on the canvas. By the time I do this, I'm sure the orange paint will be totally dry. I'm going to actually stand in front of the fan because it is a beautiful, warm summer day here in southern France. And I need just a little bit more water. There we go. Okay, how's that look? Looks okay. I think I need just a little bit more, one more drop of water. It looks just a little bit too thick. I would think after this it'll be perfect. I mean, to make your day go easy when you're painting, you need basically 3 things. You need the consistency of the paint to be just right. You need the right size paintbrush for the task. And you have to be in a comfortable position to paint. If you can get all 3 of those things together, well, usually it's all just pure pleasure painting. And there we go. So that's all done. And I think I can reuse the same brush I used for the orange paint. I think I should be able to have total control over what I want to do. We'll see right now. Let me just step back for 1 second, take a look at everything. I'll move the fan slightly lower speed. And this looks pretty good. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit like that. Hopefully the stupid camera is going to stay focused. And let's go over to camera number 1. There we go. This brush is going to do its job. Perfect. So just put my hand there so it doesn't lose focus as I try to get in. There we go. Nice. Okay, very good. So let's continue on this top row. Just pull the camera. There we go, just like that. I have an idea of what we're doing. All right. Of course, I didn't move the camera with me. Typical. Cameraman's walking on thin ice. Better be careful. There we go. You get this one right here since I'm right in front of it. Okay, so let's move on back over to the left-hand side of our painting. Get the rest of these little planets. Very good. So let me see if I can't focus on this fat guy right here. Like that, when I do the editing of my movie, I will have one close-up. Just like that. Very good. I'll pull this back. And now I'm going to have to grab my chair once again. So where are you, my guy? Here you are. Let's just pull that chair over. Come back to the dual cameras. There we go. There we go. Getting a little sloppy here. I have to be careful. More like it. Oh. And for the last 5, I will still have to move the camera over a little bit. Go. Why don't I get a major zoom in on this guy here? Oops. Something like that. And let's just get these last few ones right here. I'll get this half a circle right now. Go. And these last 2 half moons. A bit up there. There. So, what do we have now? So I'll just step back for a second, make sure I got everything. Didn't forget one. No, apparently I got them all. Okay, very good. Very good, very good. There we go. So, do I dare screw this back on? Probably not too tight, that's for sure. So, got that done. I'm stepping all over wet paint. So let's step back for a second, take a look. Okay. Well, the background is finally done. Right? So that is all ready to be splattered on tomorrow. At least that's the game plan for today. Not totally sure. We'll see tomorrow really where we're at, but I'm sure that's what we'll be doing. Doing a bunch of splattering with some turquoise. It should look quite nice. I'm a little bit excited about that. So anyways, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as well. What day is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday, so theoretically we'll be doing our show in French. Half the time I seem to forget to do that, but so I've had several of my French friends bitch about it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll remember. And it's a good time for you to brush up on your French from college or high school or from your last trip to Europe. Anyways, my friends, once again, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to leave you with two things like usual. The first one is my schedule, and the second one is by saying, ciao, mes amis.